welcome or welcome back. My name is Ari and today is my December TBR featuring my TBR Game Dungeons of Books. If you are new to my channel and you've never seen me play this game before, basically what I do is I roll a d20 and each roll corresponds to one of the prompts down here. There's no real play on the board, it's more of just a map for the fun of it. Last month I did not play Dungeon of Books because I was focused on reading all the fantasy books for Goodreads Choice Awards. Stay tuned for, I believe it's the 9th when Goodreads Choice closes, and then you will see my results for all of the books I read and how I ranked them compared to Goodreads. So the format of this is we're going to go through the rolls of the board, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the other books not on the board that I will be reading in December. So let's just get into the first roll. So as you just saw, roll number 1 was a 3, which is Goodreads Choice Awards, which is interesting. Basically what I do every year for Goodreads Choice is I read all of the categories, or most of the categories, not all of them, but most of them, and I read the winner of each category and something else. So we're at a weird time right now where I don't know who next year's winners are. So I'm just going to read something that's on the Goodreads Choice that I'm very interested in, which is Winter's Orbit by Verena Maxwell. This is a queer space sci-fi that I heard a lot about when it first came out and kind of forgot about it until I saw it on the Sci-Fi Goodreads Choice Awards. So I borrowed it from my library and I want to read it. So I'm going to read it. Prompt number 2, we rolled a 1. So, Jar of Doom. Jar of Doom is a monthly thing now. I think this is the prompt I think I get more than anything else, is Jar of Doom. So I have redone my Jar of Doom. There's more papers in here. I have everything on my shelf from 2020 or earlier that I haven't read yet. And then kind of like a handful of other books that I got from like book boxes or whatever that I just don't really have a whole lot of interest in reading. So that should all be updated. And let's see what we're reading. I'm feeling this one. And this is The Perfect Fraud, which I think is a newer book box book. Yes, it is this one, which I got in my sci-fi and fantasy book box. I don't know what this is about, but it's gotta be sci-fi fantasy. Okay, so this follows 2 women, Claire, who's comes from a family of psychics, but doesn't have any psychic abilities, so she's a fraud. And then Rena, who has a 4-year-old daughter who suffers from mysterious, incurable stomach problems. And apparently Claire and Rena get together and try to help Stephanie in her stomach problems. I have no idea how this is fantasy sci-fi at all, but we'll read it. And fortunately it's fairly short, so not bad. Next, I rolled a 12 and then a 7 for the tiebreaker, so 12 and then low. And this is a backlist book. So for me, backlist books are like over a year old. So I'm gonna say anything from like 2020 or earlier would be backlist. And I can kind of like fudge that if I want, but for this one I am going to read Fortuna Sworn, which I think is from like 2019, so it's backlist enough. This was one of the books that I've been wanting to read all year. It's on my 5-star predictions list and I haven't gotten around to it. So what better time to read this than the last month of the year? It's a Christmas present to myself, or a birthday present. My birthday's in December too. It's a Christmas/birthday present to myself to read a book that I really want to read and I haven't gotten around to yet this year. Next up, rule number 4 was a 17, and I think this is the first time ever I have rolled a 17, because this is a prompt jar prompt. So prompt jar, how this works, it's like the Jar of Doom, but where the Jar of Doom has a jar of books to read, the prompt jar has a jar of prompts, and I just randomly grab into the jar and pick a prompt, and then that's the prompt that I need to fulfill for this book. I didn't have a prompt jar. I had a bunch of like idea prompts like jotted down somewhere, but I didn't have a prompt jar, so I had to make one. And he's over here. I used a boot that I got from the Texas State Fair this year. And yeah, I put a handful of prompts in here. Some of them are easy, some of them are hard, some of them are nice, some of them are mean. They're just like all over the place, but let's see what prompt I'm going to get. I want this prompt. This prompt. And this prompt is from a recent haul. All right, so you can't see it, but on the top of this shelf, as I haul books throughout the month, I just stack them up on the shelf over here. So I literally grabbed the book off the top, so it is literally the most recent book I've picked up, period. And that is Satanic by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 3 in his Skyward series, and it literally just released, I think, last Tuesday maybe? Time blends. But yes, this just released. I'm super excited to read it, so I'm kind of glad I got this prompt, and then I get to read this next month. Roll number 5 is a 14 and then a 2. So tiebreaker between fantasy and sci-fi, I get fantasy. I've been reading a lot of fantasy lately because of the Goodreads Choice Awards, so I was kind of hoping to get sci-fi, but I'll read a fantasy. And for this one, I am going to read The Liar's Knot by M.A. Carrick. This is the second book in this series that I don't remember the name of the series, but I got an arc for this, so I am super excited to get to this arc. My arc vlog, my monthly arc vlog, should come out pretty early in December. I do have 3 arcs, but I think 2 of them are November arcs and one's a December, or maybe it's 2 December and 1 November, but it's a mix of November and December arcs, but there will be 3 arcs. on that video, on that vlog, so make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing what arcs I'm reading for December and November. All right, that is the TBR game. I don't have a lot of other books that are for sure going on my TBR. I do have the Buzzwordathon, where the prompt is a day, season, month, week, something like that word in the title, and I'm actually putting Winter's Orbit in there because this is like the only book I have that has some sort of day-ish title. At least on my first pass through, that was the only one I saw, and I was like, oh hey, I wanted to read that anyway. Perfect. Book Covered Book Club, the prompt for December has not been announced yet, so I don't know what that is. As for my other video plans for the month, the only one that I'm really going to tell you about is the one I just told you about, where it's reading the arcs. I am reading The Liar's Not Like I Told You, but I'm also reading The Bone Shard Emperor, which was another arc that came out, and then Waif by Samantha Kolsnick, which comes out December 1st. So 3 books on that. Super excited about that. And I think that's it for this video. Yeah. I'll see you in the next one. And have a wonderful holiday season.